Welcome to Module 3 of Mastering Lookup Functions in Excel. In this module, we will dive into one of the most popular and widely used lookup functions, Vlookup. By the end of this session, you will have a solid understanding of how to use Vlookup effectively to enhance your data management skills in Excel. Let's get started. Vlookup stands for vertical lookup. It is used to search for a value in the first column of a table and return a value in the same row from a specified column. The syntax for Vlookup is as follows: lookup value, table array, column index number, and the range lookup. The lookup value is the value that you want to search for. The table array is the table where you want to search for the value. The column index number is the column number from which you want to retrieve the value. And the range lookup is used to either return an approximate match or an exact match. Let's see Vlookup in action with a few practical examples. Here we have two sales sheet tables, one with a list of products and inventory information, and the other with sales and restocking information. The two tables are linked through the product ID, which is visible on both tables. For this exercise, what we are going to do is use Vlookup to bring the sales revenue column from the second table to the first table. This will help in your understanding of how Vlookup works. Now, if you've noticed, the values in the product ID column for the two tables are the same, but are arranged in a different order. And finding each corresponding ID manually would take quite a bit of time, and one could easily make mistakes, especially if you have tables that have 30, 40, or even 100 rows. Vlookup automates the process and saves you a lot of time. Now, let's get into it. You start by clicking the equal sign, which is how you start writing a formula in Excel. You then type Vlookup, open brackets. Now you select the lookup value, which is the product ID column, since that is what we are going to use to look up the values on the other table. You then click comma to move on to the next step. Next, we need to add the table array, which is the area where I want Excel to look for the data. So we go to the sales and restocking table and then highlight the entire table. What this does is use the lookup value to search for a match within the table array and then return it. Next, click comma and then type in the column index number, which will return the value of the column selected. I then type number 2 for the column index number, which signifies the second column in the table array, like in the case with HLOOKUP, but instead of rows, it's columns. This will make sure that the values in the sales revenue column is what is returned. Now to add a last comma for the last step, which is to type false, to make sure it's an exact match and not an approximate match. Enter. And close the bracket. I click enter again. And we are done. And as you can see, each sales revenue value in the product and inventory table corresponds with the product ID in the sales and restocking table, even though they were arranged differently. And that is all for this exercise. Now to move on to the next one.